So I've been kind of having withdrawal symptoms from doing this live stuff. Want to let everybody know that I'm alive, and I haven't been feeling it, So a few things on the agenda today. 372 stuff, obviously. I think the first thing to do is deal with. Is that James? Hey. First thing to do is deal with this vent, because I've done this before. We've done 372 vent issues before. This is just an ongoing thing. Let's change this up and do it a little bit differently. That's on the order of business. I'd like to put together a 372 crankcase, if at all possible, because I've got 3 of them, and I have a crank that was sitting out in the shed. Don't want to, let that sit around. But there's one other thing that was bothering me. One of the things that's kind of bothering me. Let me bring this up. And it had to do with an email that I got a little while ago. And I wanted to go over that because, yeah. Because I was really not happy about that. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Let me bring you up here. Drifty Stevens, Steve Thuralt, and James is here. Anybody else here? Anybody else hanging out for the afternoon? Yeah, something was kind of bothering me. There's an email that I got. Actually, let me bring it up. Why not? Because I just wanted to read this. And maybe you guys can make sense out of this for me. 7 people here. Okay. I'll try to paraphrase the email. Hey, Matt, how you doing? I'm so-and-so. I watch your YouTube channel faithfully. I rebuild saws like you too, and I'd like to pick your brain a bit. Okay. So, told him that I, got my email now, so, what do you need? And then he asked if he could do a cylinder delete on a base gasket delete on a 55, or whether that's recommended or not. And now I'm scratching my head. So he just told me that he watches the YouTube channel faithfully and that he rebuilds saws too. But then he asks, can you do a gasket delete on a 55 or not? So that's at least a little bit of a head scratcher. And I get head scratchers from time to time and say, okay, I don't do 55s. I haven't done a 55 on the channel. The intake looks like something that would kind of annoy me. I don't really need to do 55s, Husky 55s. And for those people that watch fairly faithfully, I don't think you've ever seen me work on a 55, so why would that be a question for me? That's one part of it. And the other part is he had just told me he works on chainsaws. He does rebuilds. So if you do rebuilds, I have to assume you're adept enough to figure out what squish is on a 55 and whether or not you can make it a gasket delete build or not. That kind of makes sense, right? Are you guys with me so far? Maybe you're not with me. But this really actually annoys me. This is something that I get seriously annoyed by. So I told him I'm not familiar with the model. What's current squish? And he says, what do you mean by squish? So now I'm really confused. Because he just told me he watched the channel faithfully. He just told me he rebuilds saws. But he doesn't know how to check squish. So right off the bat, I'm annoyed because there's something not truthful here. Now, I don't know really how to deal with this, but except for the fact that I called him out. And and I have not heard back from him since. I don't like it when people are dishonest with me. I definitely don't like it when people are dishonest with me with the first sentence, i.e., I watch your channel faithfully. It's like that's like right in the beginning of the introduction of how I'm getting to know somebody. You know, man, I'm a huge fan. Well, great, that's awesome. It's wonderful. But then he goes and proves that he's not. Okay, I have a better idea. Start out with, Matt, I really don't know what I'm doing. Where do you suggest I start? You know, you could say it like that. Matt, do you have any videos on how to check Squish? Well, yeah, probably, like most of them. There are tons of videos on me doing that. So, I mean, am I being unreasonable here? My concern is what drives me crazy is in the very first interaction that I have with somebody, I have to call them out on their honesty. And that stuff drives me nuts. Yeah, maybe he's trying to get a rise out of me, but um, I didn't think so. I just thought that he was not being truthful, and he wasn't either by being honest with me or not being honest with himself. But either way, I don't think that's appropriate for a first interaction with anybody. You know, so if he had played it off like he didn't know what he was doing, then that, I can help. But if he plays it off like he does know what he's doing, and then he asks a question like, "Gee, how do you check Squish?" Um, it's a head scratcher. Robert, just tell him, go ahead and do it and see what happens. Yeah, Robert. Then the problem is, then I've definitely stooped down to a level that I don't want to get down to. I know what you're saying though. I know, go for it, man. It's tempting. It's tempting. Um, so let's play with a 372 here. So this one, and I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the video the other day or not, but went out and hung out with Mason, Northwest Hills of Connecticut, and we had a good time. But we were out there for a bit. It was cold. I still wasn't feeling great, and I'm pretty wiped afterwards, you know. So, but we had a number of saws out there. Had a good time, and the biggest question mark was this one. Now this is the 372 big bore that I had been working on. That I really put a lot of effort into, you know. And if you guys haven't seen it, Average Timber Cutter is Mason. Go back and see his video. We had 2 hours worth of work that was distilled down into like a 2-minute video of what was fast and what wasn't. Yeah, I know you wouldn't let that guy work on your stuff if he's asking like the internet for how to check Squish. Um, Robert, thanks for coming in. I do appreciate it. Thanks for coming, hanging out for a bit. So, I don't know. Things bother me, guys. Certain things bother me. And that does. Because I don't want to have to call somebody out and say, you're lying to me. Don't lie to me on a first interaction. I would think that adults know how to do, how to act like adults these days, but maybe not. If you don't know, say I don't know. It was one of the first Don't tell me you've studied when you haven't studied. You know, that type of thing. I'm going to get the handle here. Anyway, this particular 372 basically kicked butt from, you know, even the 064 that was there, my 660, and we had a 9-pin rim on this darn thing, and it here we go. Sorry. I don't know if the battery's going to hold or not. I have the whole thing here plugged in, so hopefully it'll go. But yeah, try again. We're back. Hey, Larry. I don't know if the battery's going to hold or what or whatnot. Actually, let me go upstairs and get my other charger. It may help. No, I'm going to leave that be for the moment because it's charging too. Sorry, I'm just not on my game. So anyway, so this saw really kicked butt. It was great out there. Even with a 9-pin rim, it was just ripping this thing. Dealing with bad knee? Sorry, man. I've heard ice cream is a cure for bad knees. So, what I need, the only thing that needs done on here is the dang tank vent again. What a pain in the neck. But we were out in the Northwest Hills there having a good old time.